Yeah. What's popping in the world, ladies and gentlemen? Shout out to Joel Santana, man. We back like cook crack, man. Free Santana, baby. He out.
This is the wrong podcast, sir. I think the only Santana they respect is Ortiz.
Oh. It's not saying a lot. Anyway, my name is Total Mac, and I am one of your hosts here at the No Pyro Podcast. Been doing this for some years, and this is yet another installment in our weekly episodic funny journey down wrestling weekly memory lane. Last week was episode number 106. And
right.
I see 6. Murder Janetti was our last episode. If you want to listen to that and many others, hit up YouTube, hit up SoundCloud, and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook, No Pyro Podcast. My name is Total Mac, a.k.a. TBD Mac, a.k.a. Six Flair. Joining the building with me today is no... Oh, damn, I'm about to mess up your name. Is, what the hell is your name?
You looking for me or no chill?
Yeah, for you.
It's Swervy Lee, man.
Swervy Lee, my bad. Damn, dog. I forgot what your name gonna be.
It's okay. It's okay for you to change direction every once in a while.
I know. Damn, man. I forgot your name for a second. My bad, big dog. Damn, son. All right. Rewind.
News hit you that hard, huh?
Yeah, I was trying to think of something to say, but I got caught up in the crux. That is Swervy Lee, a.k.a. Two Sub Swerve, a.k.a. Swervy Atmos, a.k.a. Swollen Power, f.k.a. Yoko Tuna, a.k.a. I already got my mind made up. We'll provide context in a second. Joining us, as always, the anchor, No Chill Drew, a.k.a. EGB, a.k.a. the Applebee's Don, a.k.a. Oh, you hear the sizzle?
That was, I felt that. I got some of that on me. You know what I'm saying?
Close your eyes. Just let it hit you. Let it hit you in the face. Pause.
Yes, and pause just in case.
My man over there cracking Mr. Pibbs. What is that, bro?
It's a blue can. We're not sponsored by them, so I'm not going to give out a name. But their logo is a ball with red, white, and blue in it.
Oh, okay. They can be handed to cops at standoffs.
Only by a woman whose parents are both moms. Not born that way, but, you know.
I didn't think it was tea.
Oh, man. All right. This is going to be one of them ones, y'all. We tuned in. We locked in. We dialed in. A lot to cover in wrestling this week. A lot to come that we're going to have to talk about as well. But first, No Chill Drew, I'm going to turn it your way. We got some sad news in the wrestling world to announce.
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, we lost another pro wrestler, the Ugandan giant Kamala. He had passed away. I believe he was 70. Now, the cause of death, of course, is vague. A lot of people are saying heart failure is the cause of death, including the hospitals. Of course, you know, some people have listed as COVID. He was COVID positive when he passed away. He did also have diabetes and heart problems later on in life. There is a GoFundMe set up for his funeral expenses, to which I have seen Chris Jericho donate $5,000 to already. Kamala was a wrestler for a long time. A lot of people know him. Even if you're not like a huge wrestling fan, you've probably seen him. He wrestled at a time where a lot of black wrestlers were, let's face it, getting screwed over and not getting paid well. That is, of course, why there's a GoFundMe set up. He is, however, if we do want to say a fuck you to Hulk Hogan, there is a YouTube clip where he is slamming Andre the Giant a good 5 years before Hulk Hogan did it at WrestleMania. So look that shit up.
Yeah, I did catch that actually.
Yeah, it was
I don't know if everybody would be familiar though, because like, I'm way past 30. So I would say like if you were 30s, like early 30s maybe, you might know that wrestler, but I would expect somebody like 20 years old to know who Kamala is.
Say late 20s. Even like, here's the thing. Even if you never watched him wrestle, you would recognize him because, let's face it, there are times where, they do the Raw Rewind or a special episode of Raw where Kamala will show up.
Yeah, so I guess. These days, I think that you're going to get Kamala Harris.
Yeah, in fact, if you try to Google Kamala, that's who will come up. But this one, is Kamala, the Ugandan giant. Some of his championships include NWA Mississippi Heavyweight Championship, NWA United States Tag Team Championship, NWA Southeastern Heavyweight Championship, AWA Southern Heavyweight Championship. He did wrestle in the WWF for many years, but he never won a championship there. He was, however, in a role with The Undertaker, where he did have like a rivalry with him in the early 90s. That's one of like his more famous roles, rather. So, we do have that.
Looking at those titles he had a lot of the alphabet there.
What's that?
Because listening to those titles he had a lot of the alphabet in there.
Yeah, a lot of the different promotions that were not. He was also the USWA Unified World Heavyweight Champion 4 times. USWA was, of course, the company that was down in Memphis when the Von Erichs and the Jarretts kind of like merged together. That was their promotion. So you could catch some of those matches on the WWE Network. If you want to go back and maybe watch some Kamala, I do recommend going back and watching some of his stuff, especially like his early 80s stuff, was pretty good. He was definitely a big guy who could, definitely, perform well. I mean, he was wrestling all the way up till like 2010. His last match was with Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's that. It was a tag team match with the Weed Man defeating Paulie and Vito Tomaselli. Look out for the Weed Man.
There's a song called that too. I forget who has it. I want to say it's Little John.
Cause I got high.
Nah, it's a song called like "I'm just searching for the Weed Man" or something like that. But I want to say it's Little John. I don't know if it's him or not.
What's actually really crazy though is the reason he retired from pro wrestling in 2010. It's not even because of his age. He retired in 2010 because a couple of years later he actually lost his first leg because of his diabetes. He ended up losing the other one shortly after. But that's really the reason why he had retired, is because of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's no joke with that. But I mean, nobody thought it would be because of age. I mean, just look at, how the WWE works and AEW to some extent.
Right. I will say, speaking of the WWE, don't expect to see him in the Hall of Fame. I'm just going to say that because Kamala was involved in several lawsuits against WWE, and we all know how they are with that. He was part of that class action lawsuit in 2016 with the traumatic head injuries. He was also in a couple of them because of the fact that he believed that he was owed royalties. Unfortunately, the contracts that he had signed with Vince McMahon back in the 80s didn't really give him any royalties. Vince owned pretty much the entire trademark, the entire likeness. So,
you think the family is fighting for this or something? And why do you think these lawsuits will be different from anybody else that sued him and got in there?
Most of the people that have sued him don't get in there unless they make good later on. But I mean, this is the reason why the Road Warriors aren't in there. This is the reason Demolition's not in there. This is actually the reason why New Day broke that tag team record, is so that they can kind of stick it to Demolition. Yeah, a lot of those people that are suing, Chavo Guerrero never mentioned. Anyone who's really sued them and recently has kind of gotten the blackball when it comes to that.
Well, I don't think anybody was looking for Chavo Guerrero to be in there, but I hear you.
Well, hey, let's face it, fucking Alundra Blaze is in there, so crazier shit's happen.
You're right. Did you see that new China Legacy Championship they have now?
Oh, yeah, no. Did you see how much they were selling it for?
I didn't catch the price.
Okay, so it is a replica Intercontinental Championship from when she beat Jeff Jarrett. It is gold and black, and I want you guys right now to guess how much they're selling this belt for online.
I'm going to say 5 racks.
What's a rack? Let's do the exchange rate. So if you're giving me 5 racks, what's in USD?
Wait a minute. I wish you could have saw my face. A rack is $1,000.
Okay, so 5,000 is what you're saying.
Yes.
What about you, Mac?
2,500.
Okay, so this is the reason I had to ask what a rack was, because it's $500 that they're selling this thing for.
Okay.
So let me ask you this: would you buy an Intercontinental Championship with China's nameplate on there? Which, by the way, it wasn't on there for her belt. They just put this on there so they could sell something with China's name on it.
Yeah.
Would you buy it for $500?
I would not, but I'm sure people will.
Well, let me ask you this: would you buy it for $499.99?
Ooh, that sounds a little cheaper.
Well, that's what they're selling for on their website.
Bray Wyatt Championship?
No, that's more expensive.
Okay.
We're talking about China here. Come on.
Well, that's why I just had to ask clarification. Well, so yeah. Before we get back into wrestling news, Swerve Lee, I mentioned earlier in your intro that you already made your mind up. Can you tell the people why?
Did you want me to cue the sad horse one more time?
Yeah, go ahead and do it, man.
For the listeners that didn't hear?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right. Why did this just close on me? Hold on.
This is like if our intro was reversed.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have some sad news for the gaming community.
I want you to imagine the guys carrying the coffin on their shoulders dancing right now.
This sounds like somebody threw Roddy Piper's music in a trash can. Just let it play.
So there was a tweet on Twitter. This is non-related to wrestling, that recently got the gaming community in an uproar. If you were following it, you should have kind of seen this coming based off a certain reveal that happened not too long ago. But there was a tweet that said Halo Infinite was going.
Hold on. Brace yourself, Drew.
Oh, Drew doesn't need to brace himself. He doesn't care. Uh, Halo Infinite is going to be delayed till 2021. No month was given.
Ooh.
So
Well,
for
can
those
I
that
give
don't,
you another tweet about Microsoft
yeah,
that may actually lure a Mr. Total Mac to the blue side?
What's that?
Are you familiar with the service called Xbox Cloud?
I am.
Well, guess who will not be supporting Xbox Cloud?
Wow.
Apple will not be supporting Xbox Cloud on any of their systems that have iOS.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. I really don't care about Xbox Cloud. I play game. I buy consoles to play games on TVs that support the frame rate and the specs. Not really into mobile gaming like that.
Well, if you were, it's not. So Apple also gave out a reasoning why. They say because they like to examine every game that they put on their marketplace, and they are unable to do that with things such as the Xbox Cloud and Stadia that has like 8 games. However, they have Steam on their store, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm about to say, or is it because they're like shit? We're like eighth in video game conversations.
Yeah.
Uh, except the fact that they're losing badly.
Well, I mean, you look at even PC gaming, nothing comes out on Apple, and if it does, it's years later. Like, hey, this is now able to be played on Apple.
Yeah, I'm a Mac guy. I mean, I'm a PC guy anyway. I don't use iMacs or anything like that. So, I mean, Apple, cell phone, iPad, AirPods, the watch. That's where it stops.
Now, when you say that's where it stops, you mean that's where it breaks, or?
Drew, you talking to me on a Kia Sarah, man? Don't let me put your business out here in the street.
I'm actually talking to you from a severely damaged Samsung Galaxy S8.
Yo, we need a gunshot sound effect so bad. I gotta find one.
um. So yeah, that was a bad comeback, Drew. I'm sorry, but let's go to wrestling. Let's talk about another comeback that happened on last Wednesday. AEW time. Let's go ahead and get into it.
All right, so show open with 12 guys in the ring
Oh boy.
for a 12-man tag team match, the Elite and FTR versus the Dark Order. And
Real quick, Drew.
yeah,
I went back and watched this. I forgot there was something on. No, we recorded last week, and then I did something afterwards. So I was like, "Oh, I can just pull the show back up." I pull it up. It was probably like 12 o'clock in the morning, and I'm watching it, and I see the 12 guys in the ring. I couldn't even make it through.
it was hard to watch for me because here's the thing. First and foremost, the match was a clusterfuck. Guys were everywhere. It was too long, in my opinion. At one point, Dax Harwood injured his knee, and the majority of the team went to help him out. So that kind of left, just I believe it was Kenny Omega just by himself. At this point, Dark Order took over. There was a slight comeback when guys started to come back, but Brody Lee eventually did get the win for the Dark Order. There was a lot of shit happening in one match. It was a long match. Maybe it's just my attention span. Maybe I'm missing it. But first and foremost, I hate multi-man tag team matches just because there's not enough time to really build any story. And then on top of it, you have no clue who the legal man is in this match ever. Guys are flying all over. You have JR definitely giving his disdain for that. Well, where's the damn tag ropes? It's like, dude, there's like 6 guys on each side. Give me a break. So yeah, that was that. Um, Now we go to the next match, and the way that they were kind of building this up is for the last couple of weeks, best friends have been arriving to the arena by way of, I believe it's Trent Bretta's mom's, or no, Chuck Taylor's mom's van. So they drove themselves in her van today, and Santana Ortiz vandalized the van, trashed it. This led to the match between these two. Best friends did get the win against Santana Ortiz. It was a good match. It was definitely a good match. But at the same time, I don't know. I guess I'm just wondering what's going on with Santana Ortiz. They're kind of just like on and off, where it's like they'll win a few and then they'll just lose, and there's no real consistency with their booking.
Yeah, the writing for these matches, I don't know, man. They've gotten lazy, in my opinion. These are your first two matches. They've gotten lazy.
I don't even know if it's laziness as much as it's just they're holding out until COVID ends, but there's only so long that you could hold out,
Right.
And then what's that?
A while, so
I think it's here to stay.
The next segment that we have is MJF is showing off his campaign room headquarters, which is basically just a bunch of ham and eggers putting together posters and shit. He's once again telling a woman to, smile. He's angry that the posters aren't 100% straight. And this is going on until Matt Hardy kind of promo bombs him and is now in the middle of the ring, kind of like interrupting him to talk about how he was at one point broken Matt Hardy. That's what he was doing. But now he's kind of, taking the role of a mentor for people like Private Party and stuff. The one guy he has tried to mentor is Sammy Guevara, kind of threw it back in his face. So now, he has a grudge with Sammy Guevara, who snuck up from behind him. This led Matt Hardy to say, Sammy, I knew you would come. They turn around. They start fighting. They fight all around the arena. And then here we fucking go. Do we not learn from our mistakes? Is that what we're doing here, where we don't learn from our mistakes? So back last year, at, I believe it was their first pay-per-view. No, first or second, when Ty Dillinger, what's his name now? Sean Spears hit Cody over the head with the steel chair. And it was supposed to be a gimmick chair, but the top wasn't, and it fucked Cody up. Mm-hmm. So what are we doing here? We have another gimmick chair where the chair is set to break apart once it comes on impact. Problem is, they set it right next to another chair that is not gimmicked. So Sammy picks up the ungimmicked chair and chucks it directly at Matt Hardy's head, busting him wide the fuck open. I mean, graphically. And then, throws him through a table. This dude was bleeding bad. And it's just like, guys, stop with the fucking gimmick chairs. They're not fucking working. I don't think that these gimmick chairs have ever worked. Ever. So this is another guy who's injured because of a fucked up spot with a gimmick chair that went wrong.
Dang.
Next match that we have, though, is TNT Championship not on the line this week. Instead, Cody is in tag team action. Cody is teaming with Matt Cardona to take on the team of Alex Reynolds and John Silver, who are the Dark Order guys who were not in the 12-man tag match. There's a lot of Dark Order guys. I just realized how many Dark Order guys there actually are when you can have two of them in another match. This was okay. I mean, Alex Reynolds and John Silver, I could do without. They're really just generic career wrestler guys at this point. So it was kind of just Cody and Matt Cardona show. It was pretty good. Wasn't anything to write home about. It wasn't anything to be like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest match ever. It was good. The only noteworthy thing that happened was after the match, Scorpio Sky came out and challenged Cody for the TNT Championship next week. So we have that.
Oh, man. Now, if that was pay-per-view, that would be different.
Now we have the debate. Orange Cassidy, Chris Jericho with a mystery guest moderator. And first, Orange Cassidy comes out, takes his place. And then the demo god, Chris Jericho, shows up, takes his place, and introduces the mystery guest moderator, Eric Bischoff. And I'm better than ever.
That was horrible, Drew.
Wow. Wow. That hurt.
You know you got to put that extra zang on it when you say better than ever. You sound like it was Eric Bischoff actually singing it.
It should. So Eric Bischoff's out here, back on TNT, first time in 20 years. And me, as somebody who's watching this late at night, sees Eric Bischoff, sees Chris Jericho, sees TNT. And my confusion is, why is Chris Jericho on my screen? His match with Silver King should have ended by now. Some people listening to this are going, who the fuck's Silver King? And to that I say, look it up on YouTube, because after WCW went out of business, so did he.
Did he make the LWO or no?
Oh, that was Eddie Guerrero.
No, I know, but it was a couple of them though. Wasn't he in it?
He was in the LWO, but he didn't make it.
Well, that's what I meant. You know what I mean? Like, wasn't he part of the team?
Oh yeah, he was part of it. I mean, all the Mexican guys were. That sounds racist, but yeah.
Well, no, they were. That's what they did.
Except Conan. Conan wasn't in it.
I don't know if what's this guy's name? La Parka. I don't know if he was. But anyway, we're going off on a tangent.
Rest in peace, La Parka. So, anyways, Bischoff's first question. So he says there's 5 questions. Neither guy has had access to the questions. So this is the first time they're hearing it. I'm sure. First question, why do Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy hate each other so much? Chris Jericho criticized Cassidy's attire, said he's the king of sloth style. And Orange Cassidy responded by clapping a black clip-on tie to his shirt. Chris Jericho then called Orange Cassidy a ginger jackass, called him a disrespectful joke of a wrestler. Orange Cassidy didn't say anything. This led Chris Jericho to going, yeah, he doesn't talk. He's an idiot who doesn't talk. So Chris Jericho answered. Orange Cassidy chose not to. Next question, who's the best wrestler? And who's the bigger star? Jericho ran down his accomplishments before again taking a shot at the way Cassidy looks and presented himself. Orange Cassidy chose not to answer.
That's an insane question, by the way.
What's that?
That's an insane question to ask, by the way.
Yeah. Who's the better wrestler and the biggest star? It's like, okay. Well, I mean, if you win Orange Cassidy kind of have a heel turn, he could have easily said that he was the bigger star somehow. Question number 3. What are your thoughts on global sea levels rising? Jericho said that's a stupid question, nothing to do with wrestling. Orange Cassidy grabbed the microphone and gave a fast, informative statement on the issue. It was actually very impressive, to which left Chris Jericho's mouth kind of wide open. Question number 4, why is Orange Cassidy so popular? Jericho said he is a reflection of the smart marks at home. And he reminded Orange Cassidy that when he loses on next week's show, he's going to have to pay him $7,000 for the jacket that he stained, which he calls a demonic possessed orange juice, because somehow his coat gets more and more orange every week. Orange Cassidy refused to respond. Last question. Why does this rematch mean so much to you? Jericho began to speak. Orange Cassidy said, Chris, shut up already. He says, you scheduled a debate against a guy who doesn't talk. You're trying to embarrass me. I'm not embarrassed. I don't care. I do care about the match next week because it's the biggest match of my career, and it's also the biggest match of your career. He then continued and says, Chris, let me ask you something. If I lose, that's fine. But what happens to Chris Jericho if he loses to the guy who puts his hands in his pockets? Orange Cassidy then took off his sunglasses and says, I want you to look into my eyes and look into the eyes of the man who will embarrass you next week. He declared he will beat Chris Jericho next week. Bischoff then declared Orange Cassidy the winner, promoting Jericho to say, I'm not only going to kick your ass tomorrow or next week, I'm going to kick your ass today. Sent Jake Hager in, who beat down Orange Cassidy. Chris Jericho hit him with the Judas effect, left Orange Cassidy lying in the ring. Best Friends did make the save, but a little bit too late. Some might call this a wasted segment. I do think it helped build Orange Cassidy's character a little bit more. And it did kind of add to their feud. Instead of just, I'm fighting you because you ruined my jacket, it's, well, now you're in this. What happens if I beat you? You headline WrestleMania. You won all these championships, all these accolades, all these bests in the world, and all this shit. What happens if I beat you?
Right. And this only makes sense if he does get a win over him. I mean, I think it should happen.
I do agree, and I really do think that they might pull the plug on, or pull the switch on that.
But there's no destination announced, right?
No, that's tomorrow. That's this upcoming week on Dynamite.
Oh, they're gonna do it on Wednesday. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, don't forget, because of COVID, a lot of these wrestling promotions are making their normal Wednesday shows pay-per-view like, because they're trying to draw on those ratings, because the sponsors are really the ones supporting the show now that they're not selling tickets.
Okay. Hey, check your phone a second.
Yeah, no, I did see that.
Okay.
That's why I do feel like, they are going to treat this like a pay-per-view feel. You're going to be getting that from the next few weeks from this and NXT because, like I said, I mean, they had Great American Bash that was on TV. They had, a couple of their super shows that were on TV. They're treating this like a pay-per-view because they kind of have to now that there's no fans.
So when you say pay-per-view feel, I feel like, not when you say it, but I mean when somebody says pay-per-view feel, it can mean two different things. So it can mean that either A, we're going to, set this up, give you the match card like a pay-per-view, or B, we're going to set this up and give you the match card like a pay-per-view and give you the expected outcomes that you would want to get a pay-per-view.
I think what it means by pay-per-view feel, and this is how I would determine it, is the unpredictability. It's not, it's on cable, so we know who's going to win. Now it's, okay, it's got that pay-per-view feel. They might go in the way that they would maybe on a normal pay-per-view. Instead of going the way that they would normally go on a Dynamite, they might go in a different direction. Just so that they can boost those numbers next week. Like, oh, wow, Chris Jericho actually lost. Let's see what happens next week. Let's see what his response is.
And I think that's what you have to do in order to get your show going for next week, or I mean the following week. Because if he just beats him again, this whole thing is dead to me.
I don't know if you saw their ratings last week. AEW's ratings last week were their second highest since they started doing Dynamites. They almost hit 1 million average.
So is it a good idea to? Oh, actually, they didn't name him, so never mind. I was going to say, was it a good idea to put out there that Eric Bischoff was going to be coming, but they didn't do that. They just said it was a mystery.
They didn't name him, but it did leak a little bit. Obviously, if you're on spoiler sites, obviously it's going to leak. Also, let's address the elephant in the room. Can we please beg JR just once, just 1 week, go without hyping a fucking podcast? Literally. As soon as he's coming out, as soon as Eric Bischoff's coming out, 83 weeks, 83 weeks, 83 weeks, 83 weeks. That's his podcast. Be sure to check it out. It's a really good podcast.
I never once listened to that either.
I have. It's informative, but I mean, you know, it's definitely something to do. Like if you have a work where you can listen to podcasts, it's definitely good. Or if you go on drives and you pop a podcast on, but it's not something that you can listen to like in one sitting, just like doing normally, because it's like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the drive podcast guy. I need to have music. Podcast at home all day.
The next thing we did have was.
Are you adding him? Are you adding him back in?
I didn't know he needed added back in.
Is Mac back in?
Let me see about adding him back in, because I didn't know he needed to be added back in. I thought he could just hop back in.
Yeah, that's what he messaged. I thought that you had.
No, I saw that he was getting out, but we just add him back right now. Hold on, folks. We're trying to get Total Mac back. This is what happens when you have a Jabron podcast.
He probably thinks we just said the hell with him.
I'm trying to add him back right now. There he is.
Mac is back.
Is he just silent now? No, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Okay, now
you're a little low.
You're just low.
Hello?
Yeah, Mac, can you hear us?
Oh, wait, hold on.
God damn, dude.
What technical difficulties? Hold on.
You know what's going to happen? I'm going to mean to edit this out, and I won't. I'll forget all about it. And then our viewers will be like, what the fuck, man?
Oh, don't worry.
I'm here.
Because I'm not editing it.
Okay. Are you back?
I'm here.
Okay, good. We were just talking about the segment with Eric Bischoff on Dynamite.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it. Is he back for good or what?
Nope, it's a one-shot deal.
Oh, great.
Unless it works out and they need more ratings and they're going to do it again.
Well, let's put it this way. He's not under contract.
Once in a lifetime, right?
It did do good ratings. I mean, he got what? It was like a 950,000 viewers on average.
Well,
that was their second highest.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, good luck. We'll see what happens going forward, but I don't know.
Like I said, I mean, you know, Wednesday shows in comparison to Monday and Friday usually hold steady with their ratings. Monday and Friday have been slipping literally every week. Every week they've gone down, 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 down. The Wednesday shows have been holding firm, which really goes to show it's not necessarily COVID hurting the ratings. It's the content. If you
I personally think that Eric Bischoff should be there every Wednesday because Bischoff and TNT go together like women that crack cell phone screens. Cell phone screens. So let's do it.
I'm with it.
Well, the next match we had was the next segment was Britt Baker in a wheelchair saying that now that Big Swole is off of her suspension, she's going to give Big Swole a chance to wrestle her once she's out of her wheelchair if she can defeat an opponent of her choosing. The opponent was her assistant Rebel that she constantly calls Reba. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not a wrestler," even though you can kind of tell she is. Had trouble getting in the ring. Big Swole came out, whooped that ass, and now it's going to be Swole and Britt Baker when she's out of the wheelchair.
Which is?
Who knows?
It's gonna be Swole and Britt Baker at WrestleMania. My God!
I do want to applaud the fact that the commentary team had no idea what they were watching, because Taz spent literally the entire time telling everyone that Rebel has had well over 100 matches under her belt. She's no stranger to the ring, while what was going on in the ring completely contradicted that whatsoever.
Amazing.
So there was that. Main event of the night. Jon Moxley defending the world title against Darby Allin. This was pretty much what you would expect from Jon Moxley and Darby Allin. These two guys literally beat the shit out of each other. At one point, Moxley got pretty busted up after he took belt shot from Darby Allin. So yeah, Allin was playing a little bit dirty here, but MJF eventually. I apologize. It was not Darby Allin who hit him with the belt. What am I fucking thinking of? MJF hit him with the belt. So MJF popped in, hit Moxley with the belt to bust him open. This is because of the fact that obviously he would want to face Moxley or Darby Allin instead of Moxley. So laying out Moxley, Darby Allin saw this, hopped up on the top rope for the coffin drop, hit him. Moxley did, however, reverse it into a choke and choked him out. Eventually, he did get out of that. A couple reversals. Moxley then did get a paradigm shift and got the win. So Moxley retains. Really good match. They just beat the shit out of each other. Not really too much there. MJF getting involved to kind of remind people that he is number one contender. If I'm not sure if any of you guys saw anything from it, but what did you think about it?
Well, I didn't, but I'm not sure if this is, I don't want to say too early, or I know that sometimes when you're building a character, and this happens a lot, you'll have them chase initially the whatever that promotion's heavyweight championship is. They'll fail. They'll go back down to mid card. They'll actually win the mid card, and then they will start to work their way back up to the championship, but never really getting buried in a sense. So if they do it that way, which is I've seen examples of that, and not in AEW but other places, I'm okay. But if he goes after this and doesn't cash in, and then you don't, he goes to the wayside or wasteland, I think it's just wasted,
Well, I don't think that he's going to the wayside anytime soon, because he has had a shot before, and it just made him, a higher up guy. So yeah, I don't think they're going to be sending this guy to the wayside anytime soon. I think Darby Allin's perfectly safe from that. It was definitely an opportunity to kind of give him some shine in the main event.
They haven't let the championship to the head in title matches die. I will say that.
You're not a
I
fan?
haven't seen that in a while. No, I am. I'm just saying. I'm glad that they're still keeping that alive.
And I do like that they had him busted open from it, kind of like to show off that no, this was a vicious hit.
Right. And they're not shying away from what happened with Cody and the chair shot when they were in their early days. So they're still not afraid to have moves to the head still. So kudos to them.
But that was Dynamite.
So, do you think though that he should get whatever the mid card belt is first, and then go for there, or just go straight for this? And I
Um,
mean, like, I don't mean like, I mean like win it though. Is what I'm asking.
Here's the thing. I don't know if the TNT title would fit him, just based on his character.
Oh, I thought you meant because he was like the size of Rio.
No. I mean, like, it's character-wise. I don't think that would fit him because the TNT championship is kind of something where you defend it every night or every Dynamite.
But they can change that. It doesn't have to be that.
Well, I mean, it's a TNT championship for a reason. And I feel like he's the type of character that's better doing vignettes and promos and then having matches every so often. That's a better way to kind of build his character. Kind of like an early Goldust, where the more you saw him talk, the more over he got.
Okay, so with that being said, are they going to have another title that is treated more seriously than this TNT Championship?
They might.
But less seriously than heavyweight.
Here's a problem with that: is Cody is the guy who makes a lot of the decisions, and I think for him, he's still in that mindset of I was pigeonholed into the Intercontinental Championship, and I don't want an Intercontinental Championship here for that reason. Which is funny because he actually pigeonholed himself into this championship. Having said that, yeah, I don't know if they're going to bring in another title. My personal feeling is that they should. There's such a thing as too many belts, but there's also such a thing as not enough. You remember the ECW brand? The reason why that kind of nobody took it seriously was they had one belt. They didn't even have a tag division. Like, you need championships to build stars.
Yeah,
And if you're not going to have championships, then you at least have to have some kind of other accolades, whether that be something like a King of the Ring, or something where you can build accolades.
I just think that they can't afford to mess this one up because if this is going to be your first, AEW bred champion, right? Heel or face. So
yeah, regardless, yeah,
you should treat it, you should treat it with care and make sure that it works. Not, taking away the no fans being there, but just your execution. I think is very important.
Yeah,
I agree with Swerve.
I definitely agree that it should be important. However, I do also believe that you can't wait too long. You can't wait 3 years to crown an AEW bred, or if that's what you want to call it, an AEW bred champion. Just because of the fact that by that time you're going to pretty much bury the roster.
Well, that's why I was bringing up the other thing about having them climb and win other championships along the way. I mean, he's won that ring, but who remembers that? So that's why I brought that up.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see, but I definitely wouldn't hesitate too long before crowning a guy who was the first non-WWE champion to be, AEW champion, just because of the fact that if you wait too long, yeah, you are kind of burying their talent. It's kind of like when Hulk Hogan came to WCW and he was like the top guy. It kind of buried everyone else because it's like, are you kind of saying that WWE's people are superior because Hulk Hogan's coming in and beating everyone?
They definitely were. In fact, that's the sentiment that's echoed in every promotion. TNA, AEW, no matter where you go.
Not every promotion, because the one promotion that doesn't do that shit is WWE. Because when they bring in a guy from another promotion, first thing they do is beat that motherfucker.
I'm talking about how WWE guys are treated elsewhere. Of course, it's not the other way around.
Yeah.
Of course not. Why would it be? They're at the top of the ladder.
Right.
Respect, even though they left or got fired.
Yeah, I'm only talking about this is a one-way street here.
All right, we could move on to SmackDown. Drew, can you pull up SmackDown?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know we're pulling us back down. I think Moxley's had the belt long enough. It's probably time.
Yeah.
Really?
I would like to see MJF win it just to see what he can do, because he is really good promo and on the mic and everything. But until you give him, the belt, make him the top guy, you're never gonna know.
A lot of people get it before they're ready. I mean, just look at Edge's first reign when he had it for 2 weeks. I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here? Even though he took it off Cena, which somebody I hated at the time, I still was like, huh?
So I do have SmackDown pulled up. So SmackDown opened with a quick video from Bray Wyatt directed at Braun Strowman. After that quick video, like, it was almost like pointless to have. Matt Riddle made his way to the ring for his opening match against a jobber entrance, Sheamus, who's already in the fucking ring.
Wow. So you know what that means.
So yeah, during this match, it was back and forth. Chad Gable came out and attacked Riddle from nowhere, causing a disqualification. So Matt Riddle ended up winning by disqualification. This led to Sheamus hitting Shorty G with the a bro kick, because of the fact that he was pissed off that he lost by submission, by disqualification. I am off today. I apologize, folks. It was what it was. I mean, you have a jobber entrance. I mean, come on. Miz TV is there. Miz and Morrison are back for another episode of Miz TV. They have a few technical glitches. And John Morrison made a joke about the new stable on Raw, Retribution, which, by the way, somebody online called Retribution aces and 5'8", so now I can't take them seriously. They interviewed a wig with googly eyes while pretending it was the hair Sonya Deville cut off last week on Mandy Rose's head. If you're sitting there going, "Wow, that sounds cringeworthy," it was. It was every bit cringeworthy as it sounds. They eventually brought out Sonya Deville, who went on a rant about Mandy Rose. She took pleasure in destroying her last week. She ran down and beat up John Morrison and The Miz. Then they went to break. As they came back, DeVille and Mandy Rose were like arguing in the back. They were kind of just trying to fight each other. So that's a storyline, I guess. Now we go to the next match. Cesaro taking on Lince Dorado. This is, by the way, the second match of the night. We're like halfway through the show, second match. This match is going on while Grand Metalik and Nakamura watch from ringside. The match went kind of how you'd expect. Cesaro used all of his power as an advantage. Dorado really had no chance in this match, and Cesaro scored an easy win. So they have a little bit. Well, Cesaro did get the win, so it's giving them a little bit of momentum.
Did he?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. So then we have a recap of the Wyatt Swamp fight and the last week's attack by the Fiend on Alexa Bliss before we saw Bray Wyatt back in the Firefly Funhouse. He said what happened to Alexa Bliss last week was Braun Strowman's fault. What's that?
Oh, ice cream.
Hey, everybody. It's the ice cream truck coming to the hood.
Every fucking week, something.
Yo, you know what, Drew? It has never came down the street before.
Yeah, usually it's just hood fights.
All R.I.P. to Kimbo Slice, man.
By the way, have you seen Booker T lately? Booker T is looking like Kimbo Slice.
I have not.
He's got the scraggly fucking beard. He's wearing the tight cap. He's wearing the sleeveless shirts.
Well, hey.
All he needs to do is get his ass whooped in UFC, and we got it. Anyway, he said what happened to Alexa Bliss last week was Braun Strowman's fault because he wasn't there to save her. He teased an appearance by The Fiend later in the evening and promised to have somebody special with him. About halfway through the show, Wyatt came to the ring. Bliss sat in the middle, and he almost applied the mandible claw again. She stopped him with one small touch before Strowman's voice came through the speakers. He said he doesn't care about Bliss. He just wants to destroy Bray Wyatt. The monster amongst men said he was pushed to his breaking point and cannot contain his evil anymore. So that's what we're getting for SummerSlam.
So wait, what is Bray Wyatt now? Because I thought he was a face. He's saying he don't care about Alexa Bliss?
No. Yeah, that's what Braun Strowman's saying.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Braun Strowman. What is he heel now or what? What's going on?
Yeah, I guess we're getting the Fiend against Monster Braun Strowman.
Is this his final form?
I fucking hope so. I can't deal with, if we get a boss music with lyrics. I can't handle that. I'm out of Revive.
Drag this out. Hey, I got a question for y'all.
Yeah.
Does anybody know where Shinsuke Nakamura is?
I just mentioned him like 5 minutes ago.
He was wrestling?
He was ringside for Cesaro. He's one half the tag team champions.
Oh, damn. Well, shows you how much I watch.
I literally just mentioned him. I mentioned him by name.
You ever watch Inside the NBA? And the first show is after they debut the season. There's a game that Charles Barkley plays called Who He Played For. And they literally watch these guys play. And they ask him who he played for. And he's like, I don't know. That's me right now.
So, how do you get inside the NBA from me talking about Nakamura?
Because I'm Charles Barkley. And I asked a question about somebody who you just talked about, aka who he just watched. That's my bad.
The only thing I want to say is don't Nakamura till you try it.
Let's move on, Drew.
Okay, so next thing that we have is King Corbin versus Jeff Hardy. This match lasted until Sheamus ran down and delivered a brogue kick to Hardy, caused another disqualification in this night in retaliation for his own loss earlier, even though it wasn't Jeff Hardy that caused the disqualification. This led to an impromptu match between Sheamus and King Corbin. Folks, if you're trying to follow along at home, so am I. Riddle then showed up to cause a distraction that allowed Sheamus to hit his bro kick for the win. Matt Riddle even applauded Sheamus after it was over.
So
I didn't get any of the names wrong. That's what happened.
So forget how you open the show. It's just like, all right, here's this. What are they doing?
I have no clue. I have no.
So is Matt Riddle on the heel side of things?
I mean, he faced Sheamus earlier.
Oh, he faced Sheamus. Okay.
He's applauding Sheamus.
Now he's applauding Sheamus. All right. Yeah, I'm lost on that one.
Right. Yeah. So am I.
I mean, he hasn't been above ground, aka not in NXT for only 2 months now, and he was feuding with the heel, which was AJ Styles, and now he's Yeah, I'm lost.
So, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack there. But we do have our main event of the night. If you can call it that, The Miz and John Morrison versus Heavy Machinery. So Tucker and John Morrison started the match. At one point, Sonya Deville came out and cheered on Ms. Morrison, while what's-her-face, Mandy Rose came out and cheered on Heavy Machinery. Eventually, the women started fighting. The ref called for the bell as Otis and Tucker tried to hold Mandy Rose back. Let me repeat this for you folks. The women started fighting on the outside, and the ref said, "This match is out of hand. We're stopping the match." How does the match get stopped?
I don't know.
When two people who are not in the match start fighting each other.
It never happens.
So this goes to the back. They're arguing, they're fighting. One of the agents is trying to break them up with his arm getting uncomfortably close to Mandy Rose's boobs. To the point where I'm like, that's about to get canceled right here. Before the lights went out, and then when they came back on, Retribution, who, if you don't know, is a new stable apparently that's oddly similar to Antifa.
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Don't do it like that, Drew. Let's do it right. Retribution is a mystery.
Right. So they come out in black hoodies and weapons, just destroying the place. Tables, guardrails, they're beating down fans. Well,
spray paint.
Wrestlers pretend to be fans. Spray painting. They pull out a fucking chainsaw and cut through the ropes. Yeah. You could definitely tell Vince is watching Fox News. So that was SmackDown. That's all I got for SmackDown.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys want to go to Raw or Dirt.
We can go to Dirt.
Okay.
All right.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
So let's start off with a special announcement. Total Mac and Sorby Lee's favorite wrestler in the world is celebrating a birthday today.
No, he is not.
So we want to say a very happy birthday. Happy 67th, brother.
I had a feeling Drew was going to do this just to ruffle feathers.
Hollywood Hogan. Now, let me ask you something. Whose birthday is it? Hollywood Hogan or Terry Bollea? Because
Wolfpack Hogan.
Because you said it's Wolfpack Hogan?
Yeah,
as we all know, Hulk Hogan's dick is huge. Terry Bollea's is average size. Hulk Hogan loves everyone. Terry Bollea doesn't want anyone who doesn't look like him dating his daughter. So they're two different people. I don't know if they have different birthdays, but that's that. Next thing that we have, Ken Shamrock says he is very interested in rejoining WWE and being a part of WWE Raw Underground. Is that something that you would want to see?
Hell yes.
25 years ago.
Fucking people up. Nah,
have you seen Ken Shamrock lately?
He gonna be fucking boys up.
Listen,
have you seen him lately?
I'm sure he's in great shape on the outside, but the inside is done.
Ken Shamrock is ripped up like a plagiarized midterm. Okay? He is fucking shredded. At 50, he was protecting 50 Cent. He was 50 Cent's bodyguard, man.
All you have
So,
to do is take a bullet. I mean, you don't necessarily got to be, breaking
nobody
arms.
shot at 50 Cent, by the way, because they knew that if you shot at him, Ken Shamrock was coming after your ass. And I mean, good luck.
Yeah.
No, he's torn up. I would like to see it, at least. Ring of Honor scheduled to resume production this month. So they will be rejoining the empty arena format that WWE and AEW have been enjoying, as well as Impact. So they will be coming back to TV very shortly. I know that.
More distractions.
Yeah. FTR revealed during a podcast that when they had asked for their release from WWE, it was actually not as easy as they made it seem originally. Apparently, when they were the Revival, they had gotten some trademarks on their own. Those trademarks being no flips, just fists, and hashtag FTRKO. When they were leaving WWE, WWE would not grant them their release unless they sold all their personal trademarks to the WWE. So that's actually pretty interesting. That it's almost like they were kind of afraid that they were going to do a Revival-like gimmick. And it's like, no, we want all those trademarks, even the ones that you bought.
That's interesting.
Randy Rhodes.
It's amazing how many people love and want to work for them.
Right.
Hey, I mean, all you see is your love of WrestleMania as a kid. And I mean, if you're a kid and you grew up wanting to be a wrestler and you became one, the only thing you think of is, man, I always wanted to wrestle at WrestleMania. You never really think about the fact that they're going to probably fuck you every step by Tuesday. No, it's man, I want to be at WrestleMania. I want to do that. That's what I want to do. Instead of looking at maybe there's other promotions, you get people like Zack Ryder who are like, I don't ever want to leave. Even though they never feature me on TV, I never want to leave.
Hey.
Brandy Rhodes announced that she had quit Twitter. Apparently,
Yo, man, really? This is dirt.
okay. So the reason,
Like, come on.
so the
Let
reasoning
him live,
why
man. Let him live.
is apparently the announcement of the AEW heels being $60 for a year to join a online community did not go over as well as she thought. And apparently there were several people harassing her and making no D-pics, but you can imagine what else they were doing.
No D-pic. Hey, that's my D-pic. Go ahead, man.
Get this motherfucker off the podcast, man, please.
From what she had stated, it looks like a lot of it was racial stuff that they were sending to her. So she had just decided to quit Twitter because of that. Once again,
Good idea.
these are all direct messages. I'm not sure how many of them were legit, but it kind of sucks that they would do that. It really sucks that they would do that.
What was that again? A podcast you said, or what? What was it? What was that?
It's a community. It's like the best way to put it is if you'd have like message boards and videos and content where women, like female wrestling fans, it's just for female wrestling fans.
Okay.
So it's for them to feel like safe without having to worry about creepy dudes with their neck beards going, "Oh, girl likes wrestling."
So it's like those gyms for women where we're not allowed to go.
BAC for women.
Yeah. I hate those gyms. I want to go to those gyms.
Why?
All right, Swerve, relax, man, relax.
So I can look at the women.
Relax, man.
That's why they hit their gyms, because of you.
Relax, man. Relax, man. Relax. I'm trying to save you, bro. Relax. Got a 50 clip you shooting from right now, man. Let's put it down.
The next thing we have is ACH, formerly known as Jordan Miles, is returning to the ring for the first time since he left NXT, calling everyone WWE racists, and no showing an indie show. He is going to be at the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong event. This is probably his first wrestling show in probably the better part of a year. Hopefully, he has gotten everything that he needed to get cleared up, because it did seem like when he left pro wrestling, he was a little bit just not in the best place. And I am hoping that he's in a better place now.
Same here.
And the last bit is a trailer dropped for a documentary entitled "You Cannot Kill David Arquette." This documentary details David Arquette's love of wrestling as well as his return to the ring almost 20 years after his WCW title win, where he took place in a death match. Did you see the death match at all that he was a part of?
No.
A lot of people in wrestling were pissed off at it, not at David Arquette. A lot of people actually respected David Arquette, respected the shit out of him. Like, okay, we get it now. You're somebody who actually is not making fun of wrestling, but you're a fan who just wanted to do it. And this promoter took advantage of that and put him in a match that he was not ready for. And he got fucked up pretty bad in this match. It almost killed him. He had a bad cut near his artery. It was really bad. But it documents all that, his struggles with substance abuse and everything, his depression, the fact that he was a huge wrestling fan and became basically the Saddam Hussein of wrestling. He was the joke of wrestling. You mention him and everyone's just like, oh.
I thought that was Muhammad Hassan.
Who's the no chill here? Who the fuck is the no chill? Me or you? Because you just threw two of them out at us.
You might as well say Brooklyn Brawler, bro.
Listen, man, just pass me the ball. Arquette, I guess this proves that, like you said, he really is a wrestling fan because he did exactly what wrestlers do. Wait 25 years to come back and try to do something.
Right.
Exactly. And he waited for the audience because the people that watch him now are a lot more forgiving than the people who watched him 20 years ago when they thought wrestling was still real. And it's like, what the fuck's David Arquette doing here? Now we're more used to kind of dumb shit in the ring where it's like, oh, David Arquette's there? Must be a Tuesday.
Thanks to Orange Cassidy. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, seriously. But that's all I got for dirt.
I have a piece of dirt.
Okay.
So let's talk about how there was a podcast that Goldberg went on and he responded to Roman Reigns. And there was a spot back in their match where Roman was supposed to throw his head in against the post and he wouldn't do it. And Goldberg basically said on the podcast, Roman, you're a joke. So I don't know if this is a shoot. I don't know if this is to set something up. But that's that happened, I think, last week.
I don't know if it's a shoot just because of the fact that it's if it's just some Joe Schmo's podcast, unless it's on Corey Graves' podcast.
So this was on a fan asked Roman why he Let me see here. While he punches the floor, he said, "Nothing to explain, Nick. It's a little piece of a pad, so I don't break my hand on steel grate. I guess, he said, I got to perform like 48 weeks a year, man, so that would be stupid. It would be like headbutting a door before my match level of stupid."
Oh,
That was a dig to Goldberg. He said, "Anyway, have a good day." That was on Twitter, excuse me. So Goldberg went on a podcast and said, "Roman, you're a joke. First of all. Second of all, when he ragged on me about headbutting the door and stuff, I never really explained my whole thought process on that." He said, well, he went on. So he said, "For you guys to get the character that you got, I had to do certain things. Well, one of them was headbutt the door, right? And that may, on the outside, look like a stupid move. But as I mentioned, we all weigh the positives and the negatives. So it's very positive to make it as violent as humanly possible and as real as humanly possible. And all the negative, you lose a little blood, and hey, man, you get another concussion and a cut up week off your life. That's the difference between Georgia and Georgia Tech in a nutshell. You need no more explanation." So Roman went to Georgia Tech. Goldberg went to Georgia. Take it for what you will.
And this was on some like relatively unknown podcast.
The name of it was,
I think it was like an MMA podcast, actually.
American Monster.
You didn't have to give me the name. I'm just asking, was it relatively unknown?
I don't know. American Monster Productions.
Yeah, okay, so it's relatively unknown. I would think that that's a work, and they're trying to see what traction this can generate by a certain time. Maybe next year, maybe Royal Rumble.
They were saying WrestleMania, which, no, we don't need that.
Did you see Logan Paul is challenging $10,000 to any influencer who can beat him in a wrestling match?
I saw who answered too.
What?
I saw who answered that too.
Who?
It was the guy from What Culture Wrestling.
Oh, see, I saw somebody else who answered it. New Jack.
Oh man, New Jack.
New Jack's answer: "I'll kill this motherfucker."
Yeah. If I was Logan, I wouldn't take that.
You can't need more than $10,000,
man.
What's the spot? Why stab you here?
Swerve, man. The streets is talking, man. They say you got some hibiscus, some eucalyptus, some green, some Lipton. You ready?
When you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
That's a fact.
But hold on, let me get ready. No, I'm just kidding. Are you guys ready? It's just a question.
Let's do it. Oh shit.
Turn my audio up, turn me down a little bit. Yeah, that's perfect. All right, Wrestling fans.
Drew, you got to turn it down just a little bit, Drew.
Good.
As I was saying, it's been a while, and I should have left you without good teeth.
Fade that out, Drew. Fade that out, Drew. Fade that out, man. Fade it out.
There is trouble in Skateland. I'm talking about Darby Allin and his now ex-wife, Priscilla Kelly. She recently released a statement letting it be known that AEW wrestler Darby Allin and her are going through a divorce, but are ending on good terms. Like any relationship, there's been ups and downs, but they've come to the conclusion that they're just not compatible together as people, and they are on good terms. And they're best together. So while this might be sad news for the relationship of the couple, Darby Allin's DMs are open, ladies. The floodgates flood.
And so are Priscilla Kelly's, if you're into the tampon Don.
Well, I wasn't trying to announce hers because I was going to send my D pic.
Oh.
So I really wasn't trying to,
Don't do that, bro, because she gonna try to.
Actually, no. I'm going to send her a skateboard.
Hey, girl, what do you think about King Richard III?
Shorty gonna walk in your room and come from the ground, and it's gonna be nothing but a sea of red like Gangrel, dog. You don't want to do that.
You're going to open that door to the elevators from The Shining.
Don't do that to yourself, man. Not the tampon Don. Disgusting. She getting her ass beat. Bad. All right, no chill. You want to pull up Raw?
I will try. I usually don't have any success, but I will try. Okay. So, we start off Raw with a contract signing. And like any WWE show, shenanigans will ensue during a contract signing. So, this was a contract signing between Seth Rollins and Dominic Mysterio. Samoa Joe introduced Seth Rollins and Dominic for their contract signing. The Monday Night Messiah called Dominic a coward, which set off the Samoan submission machine. He called out Rollins for turning against the fans on a whim. Seth Rollins turned to Dominic, telling him he should be grateful. Rollins gave him an opportunity to succeed by agreeing to an Extreme Rules match, as he would never last in a true wrestling match. Dominic then signed a WWE contract, and this is scheduled for SummerSlam. Seth Rollins against Eddie Guerrero Jr., Dominic Mysterio. Dominic then stuck around for Seth Rollins' match against Humberto Carrillo. Rollins pretty much, traded Humberto like a ham and egger.
That was a bad move for Dominic.
Yeah. Afterwards, Murphy attacked Dominic, and the two trapped the son of Mysterio in the ropes before whooping the shit out of this kid with the kendo stick. Did you see the after pictures?
I saw that Cain Velasquez body he had.
Ooh. He was cut up.
Steve Blackman was somewhere smiling.
Whew. I don't know if that was kind of like an initiation or like dues being paid, but WWE might have some people on their ass about hazing after that, because
I think they put makeup on that motherfucker. To be honest with you,
I hope so, because they whooped the fuck out of him.
I think it was there, but it wasn't like that. It was like gory to look at it. So a filter on there.
The next thing that we had was Andrade versus Angelo Dawkins. Before this, Zelina Vega explained in a promo that she had nothing to do with the poisoning of Montez Ford last week. Angelo Dawkins battered El Idolo early with right hands, but Andrade's singles experience allowed him to quickly grind down Angelo. Zelina Vega tried to interfere, but Bianca Belair attacked her. The distraction led to Dawkins.
Wait a minute, you said Dawkins grind down Angelo.
I'm sorry, Andrade grind down Angelo. I apologize.
So Andrade grinded down Angelo?
Yes, because of his singles experience. Because of the fact that
Maybe I just don't get the terminology being used here, but
like wear him out.
oh, okay. I got you.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, right, Drew?
Because one guy's a tag team guy, the other guy is normally wrestling his singles.
Listen, man,
Okay.
ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of that. You know what I mean?
This did allow Dawkins to hit his finisher, a 3 count.
Oh.
This quickly transitioned into a makeshift match between Bianca Belair and Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega used her speed to get the upper hand on Bianca Belair. She did not account for Bianca Belair's stamina, and Bianca got back up again and again. A powerbomb from Bianca set up the KOD for a dominant win. Charlie Caruso interviewed Belair and Dawkins after the match. Bianca Belair warned that Vega would face her wrath again if they tried anything more. Dawkins promised that Ford will be back by SummerSlam. So there's that.
I still don't know what KOD means all this time.
No clue. Collegian of Doom.
Oh, okay.
Next up, Apollo Crews just happened to be here, taking on Shelton Benjamin. Happy to have a job. MVP called out Apollo Crews on the VIP lounge, demanding an admission that he caused the lights to flicker. United States champion laughed at the accusation. He rushed the ring to fight off the Hurt Business enough to set up an impromptu match with Shelton Benjamin. Bobby Lashley distracted Crews, allowing Benjamin to get a surprise roll-up, the most devastating move in pro wrestling, and get a huge victory. Afterwards, MVP stopped Bobby Lashley from putting Apollo Crews in the full Nelson as he wanted Crews ready for SummerSlam. MVP tried to cheap shot Crews, but he got an enziguri in the face instead. So, yeah.
Yeah, don't give Apollo Crews a mic again, please.
Please
Jesus.
So then we have Ivar from the Viking Raiders was flirting with. It looks like they gave this blonde lady a name, Demi Burnett, backstage until Eric found him. Demi Burnett reminded Eric that he was not one of the Viking Raiders. Akira Tozawa demanded all of his ninjas get into action instead of him. One of the ninjas refused, and Tozawa decided to bail instead of fight. The Viking Raiders hit the Viking Express on the ninja for the win. R-Truth rolled up Tozawa on the ramp to take the 24/7 championship.
Supposed
So
to be
they're
down
still.
for them other ninjas.
What's that?
Supposed to be down for them other ninjas. I couldn't let it go. I'm sorry. I couldn't let it go back.
He ready to leave, man. He ready to go, Drew. Hurry up, man. He ready to go, man.
Look, man, I'm being creative, okay?
All right, man, at you.
The next match that we have is Liv Morgan with Ruby Riott taking on Peyton Royce with Billie Kay. Iconics made fun of the reunited Riot Squad on their way to the ring. Peyton Royce planned to Liv Morgan with an early spin kick. Ruby Riott tried to stop Billie Kay from interfering, but the referee only caught Ruby Riott. On the apron, the distraction allowed Royce to catch Morgan with the Deja Vu for the victory. It was as shitty of a match as you could imagine.
2 minutes and 32 seconds?
Pretty much.
All right.
It was still 2 minutes, 32 seconds too long.
Good old Evolution.
The next match that we did have was Bayley versus Asuka. Asuka attacked Bayley at the bell, but the role model fought back. As the lights flickered, the action raged back and forth. Both women were willing to batter each other for the victory. Sasha Banks distracted the referee to help Bayley and also took cheap shots at Asuka when she could. Bayley used every opening to target the legs of Asuka, using a variety of submission moves. After a sunset bomb in the corner, Bayley mocked Kairi Sane, taking too long. As Bayley charged Asuka, she got rolled up, and she was put in the Asuka lock for a quick tap out. So because of this, she earned a shot at the Raw Women's Championship against Banks at WWE SummerSlam.
But not against Bayley?
No, it looks like for Bayley, there's going to be like a three-way battle royal. So it's going to be a battle royal with all three brands to determine who's going to be facing Bayley.
I'm so disappointed in how they did this whole thing, but what else is new?
Yeah. Well, speaking of disappointments, WWE Underground is back.
Hey!
Shane McMahon looking like your creepy uncle. It begins with an emphatic victory from Riddick Moss as he battered Cal Bloom, who is A-Train's son, but for today he'll be playing the role of Hammenegger. Arturo Ruiz dominated his opponent, who does not have a name, knocking him out clean with a violent spin kick. Dabakato threw around a random Hammenegger, and Shane McMahon quickly called for the bell. Shayna Baszler stepped up to Kato, but Shane told him to back off. No women wanted to step up with her, so she attacked a few women, making one of them tap out to her Kurafuda clutch.
And they ain't want no smoking. She just went and gave it to him anyway. That's crazy.
But speaking of the women, one person did point out that WWE made sure to get rid of the strippers this time. Apparently, people like Alundra Blaze were pissed off that they had strippers last week. So there were no dancing women in the background.
Mm.
And then we get to the main event of the night. Randy Orton with Ric Flair taking on Kevin Owens.
I still haven't seen this, so Drew. Are they cutting away to that and then cutting back to the actual ring?
No, that's just a total segment, yeah.
Oh, okay. It's a segment. It's not like an hour.
No. Dedicated
to this. Okay.
No. So Kevin Owens, who's a really nice guy, Ric Flair walked Randy Orton to the ring, followed by a highly motivated Kevin Owens. Now, mind you, I haven't seen Ric Flair with Randy Orton in a long time. So the fact that Ric Flair's out here with Randy Orton is telling me shenanigans are about to ensue.
Yep.
So it was a decent match. It was actually a pretty good match for a main event. Viper did get an RKO out of nowhere for the win. Afterwards, Orton told Flair to stick around as Randy Orton had something to say. Orton called out the Nature Boy as his liability. He had forced Randy Orton into a match because of his ego. He labeled his friend washed up and a junkie for the spotlight. Flair told Randy Orton that he took those words personally. He wanted Randy Orton to know how much he respected his ability and wanted him to break his 16-time world title. Ric Flair is the only one who wants that. They hugged, but Orton followed through by catching his mentor with a low blow, and then punt kicked Ric Flair and whispered a final farewell to his friend. Drew McIntyre ran down to make the save. I don't know how you make the save after he just kicked his head into the second row.
And the way they did it too was they turned the lights off as he kicked him. So it's like you could hear it, you just couldn't see it.
You could tell that he didn't actually kick him.
Right. Right.
So yeah, there's that. I mean, it was a good match, all things considered. I mean, it is what it is with WWE. But that was Raw. What did you guys think?
I think there's no better way.
Can we all agree this is the best thing they've given Randall Orton in, I don't know, 15 years?
The best what?
Program?
I'd say probably the best 10 years, yeah.
You didn't like his 200 matches with John Cena?
No, I did not.
Did you? So yeah, that's my stance on it.
All right. Well, do we have anything else for this week?
I didn't get anything from the Avid one.
Next week, Swerve or Drew, you want to tell the people what's going on?
Looks like we are going to be having a roundtable discussion for SummerSlam next week.
That's right. Come one, come all. Everyone is
Like
invited.
Like a sticker jerk, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, we can if you want, but
Whoa.
we are calling all the old callbacks, all the guests. We're blowing the whistle. They're coming in. And if you enjoyed our WrestleMania roundtable, we think you're really going to enjoy this. If you didn't fuck with that or you didn't catch it, maybe you want to check it out. It was definitely one of our better shows, and I think that we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about with this.
Excellent. All right, well, shit. Look forward to next week. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on Facebook. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and on YouTube as well. Just search No Pyro Podcast. To close us out this evening, my name is Total Mac, a.k.a. TBD Mac, a.k.a. Stick Flair. Joined, of course, with Swervy Lee, a.k.a. Two Sub Swerve, a.k.a. Swervy Atmos, a.k.a. Swollen Pal, f.k.a. Yoko Tuna, and No Chill Drew, a.k.a. EGB, a.k.a. the Applebee's Don, a.k.a. We out this bitch like Trump in November, y'all. Hopefully. Well, January. Hopefully, y'all.
Oh, so we're not leaving?
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think so.
You botched that outro.
Yeah. Stimmy's on deck, baby. We here. Come holler at us. Doses.